are you?
I'm Peter. Peter Sellers.
He was one of the greatest comic geniuses in motion picture history.
Mr. Sellers, I know you're quite big on radio.
This is the BBC Home Service.
But film's a bit of a different medium. No one's gonna hand it to you. You gotta go out and take it.
He wasn't just a character. He was hundreds of characters.
Which one of you gentlemen is Peter Sellers?
Tell me you got that.
Discover the one side of Peter Sellers the world has never seen.
Drive on, James! Such a funny boy.
Himself.
Your father is a useless, talentless, empty man. Did you know that?
Yes, Daddy.
Nothing makes me happy the way that I'm supposed to be happy.
You know Daddy didn't mean it, don't you?
I was bloody awful up there. I thought you were brilliant. I don't really have any personality of my own. I could use your support.
You've always had my support. It's my patience that I'm no longer sure about. I want to be a mother to our child.
You see, Peter, you like pretty ladies. You're quite a perceptive man.
I love you, Peter!
Well, we do have all night.
You naughty boy.
Must take up photography.
Hello, my dear friends. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
HBO Films invites you on an epic journey.
The main character is a man with no self, no discernible personality. I find myself thinking about this man a great deal.
Through the mind
I think I'm in love with you.
But you've just met me.
of one of the most brilliant talents of our time.
Cheers.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel like spring has come. Feels to be wrong and a wonderful thing to be from. You make me feel so young.
The Life and Death of Peter Sellers is a biographical comedy drama romance movie that was released on October 1st, 2004. This movie has an all-star cast including Jeffrey Rush, Charlize Theron, John Lithgow, Stanley Tucci, to name a few. But is it good? Well, let's find out by starting with the story. The story is, well, the life and death of the famous comedic actor Peter Sellers. Mostly the life of him. Okay, full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Peter Sellers. I am familiar with his work, but to be honest, I've fallen out of love with the Pink Panther movies. The only one that I thought was kind of funny was The Pink Panther Strikes Again, and even then, it had some really fucking gross jokes in it. I'm actually more partial to the Pink Panther animated short films than the live-action full-length movies now. So needless to say, I had pretty fucking low expectations for this movie. I watched it on the off chance that it would be, at the very best, decent. But no, this movie is pretty mediocre. So let's get into the reasons why. I will say I think it is interesting that Peter went from being a radio comedian to a film actor and realized that the two mediums were totally different from each other. But the other thing that I noticed about Peter in this movie is that he is a shit human being. He pretty much treats everyone that is close to him in his life like shit. He mistreats his first and second wives, his children, his mother to an extent, and even when he gives a speech to Blake Edwards at a party celebrating the Pink Panther Strikes Again, his compliments are extremely backhanded. You could say he is joking, but judging from everything else in this movie, I think he's 100% serious. Interestingly, the movie has certain characters talk to the audience saying what Peter was like, and are almost kind of telling you that he was a bastard who never learned anything. The problem with this is all shit that I already know. I didn't need Blake Edwards or his mother to tell me that. Peter is also very much a method actor when it comes to preparing for his performances, which definitely alienates a lot of people he knew and complete strangers. Watching Peter act like a total D-bag toward pretty much everyone in this movie is just not fun to watch at all. It's not even interesting. There are way too many fucking people in real life that act this way. Even when he is sad that his mother died and Britt Eklund, who is his second wife, tries to comfort him, they still make him an unlikable bastard because he just goes and mocks her viciously. But it is gratifying to see Britt be all like, fuck you, get the fuck out of my life. And that is when she leaves him. Now, I don't know if this movie is accurate to how Peter was in real life. If it was accurate, then I'm starting to question if this man is really worth celebrating as a comedic icon. If it wasn't accurate, then congrats to this movie. It basically insulted the name and work of a dead man. Good job, gold fucking star. Also, the scene when Britt tells Peter that she's going to have a kid is the worst fucking scene in the movie. It is gross, it is not funny, it is uncomfortable, and the worst part is that it is pointless. We don't even see the goddamn kid or even know what even happened to him. I don't think they even show him. You could literally take this scene out and it would change nothing. Okay, are there any good things in this movie? Well, I kind of like the fantasy sequences. They kind of give this movie its own unique style and sort of enhances the tone it's going for. I kind of like the parts when Peter is acting in his movies and seeing how they come together. But another problem I have with this movie is that it skips major parts that I know happened in Peter's life. Like, the only Pink Panther movies we see him act in are the first Pink Panther movie and the Pink Panther Strikes Again. Well, sort of. Or at least it's mentioned. There were more Pink Panther movies than that. We don't even get a montage mentioning them in some way. But that is the one complaint that bothers me at the least. But perhaps the biggest missed opportunity is the actual death of Peter Sellers. After an admittedly cool effect of him zooming out of the poster of being there, we cut to a sequence that may or may not be a fantasy, of Blake Edwards finding Peter outside a restaurant in the winter, while Peter is writing the script for Romance of the Pink Panther, which is the movie that never got made. Blake goes outside to find that Peter is stationary and doesn't even react when Blake touches him. Afterward, we just get text about how Peter died of a heart attack in 1980, followed by the typical text about his surviving wives and children. It's an okay ending, but I think it would have been more powerful if we actually had a sequence involving the heart attack and the funeral. You could have had a moment where that could have been a good contrast of joy and sadness, laughter and tears, but that's not really what we got. For the most part, I didn't get a whole lot of enjoyment out of, or anything out of this story. Now, as for the production values, the cinematography is really good. I love how in London, England, it's dark and rainy, but when we get to the scenes in America, they are lighter and more whimsical. It not only adds to the style, but it is pretty much what both places are like. London is dark and rainy, America's more lighter and sunnier. Well, in most states. The editing, sound, and visual effects during the fantasy sequences are very well done. The music is a bit of a mixed bag. The score is not that great, but there is a surprising amount of songs used in the movie. These include What's New Pussycat by Tom Jones, Space Oddity by David Bowie, I Heard It Through the Grapevine by Marvin Gaye, Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash, to name a few. Whether you like these songs or not, they are recognizable. Overall, the life and death of Peter Sellers is exactly what I expected it to be. not that great. At least I can give it points for that. The movie portrays Peter as an unlikable fuckwad, and whether or not it's accurate to his life, it is just painful to watch. But maybe that's because I've dealt with people like that in real life way too much. It is also not that funny, not the emotional powerhouse that it so desperately wants to be. I guess it might be interesting if you want to know more about Peter Sellers, but this isn't really a movie that was fun to watch, or that I got much out of, or one that I would ever watch again. I give The Life and Death of Peter Sellers 2 out of 5 stars with the title of OK Black Staying Power. For once, can I get a movie that's not mediocre? Anyway, I'm Spike Robot. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel. And feel free to support me on Patreon and follow me on Instagram. So, see you next time on Other Freedom Jingos.
I must give the impression that I have the answers for everything. You were so disappointed to see me unravel so